What was the original concept?
The original concept of the USA Film Festival was to celebrate only films, or to accept for entry only films that had a USA citizen as a director. Otherwise, there were no categories, no distinctions.
The original concept was an attempt to cross all the borders of American filmmaking as it exists today. University, student, experimental, documentary, and Hollywood. Bring them all together on one screen, show them one after the other, and say, this is the state of the art today.
Nothing like this. The original idea was to have a panel of critics, of prominent USA critics, and regional or local critics even, to be a panel of judges. And they would look at whatever was submitted each year and make their selections, program the festival out of what they felt was the best, you know, on a point system of voting, which didn't satisfy any of the critics completely, but satisfied all of them to some degree. We found out on that score that if you consider the studio films as part of the great American film of today, that you really can't deal competitively with them. That's a risk they don't have to take. Finding out that their film was rejected, or that it wound up 14 in a field of 14, and so they won't participate on those bases.
The SMU Festival, I get from their press releases, has 4 critics. These 4 critics are selecting individually a certain number of films that they would like to bring here. We are continuing with the original concept of inviting all films made by an American director to be sent here for a mass judging by all of the critics in a body. That is the main difference, is the one festival has films that have been selected individually by 4 critics. Our festival has an open selection of any film that comes in that's good enough can get on the screen.
Was the choice of films last year a factor in the split for the reasons that were mentioned? I believe a story in Variety magazine said
I saw that story. Whoever gave that story to them just lied for their own benefit. I don't know what purpose they were trying to. As a matter of fact, SMU should have gotten garlands of flowers and votes of approval from the film community for being the site of a totally open film festival. No film was ever turned down on the basis of its explicitness in language or action of any kind. The only consideration that the university or I or the Board of Trustees was interested in is it a quality artistic film, period.
Starting back the first year, a film called People's War was selected, which was made by a group of people in Los Angeles called The Newsreel, which is a radical commune. That film disturbed Dr. Jones so much that he left campus the day the film was being shown and did not go on stage with the filmmaker. So that was my first indication that he was a little bit upset at the kind of films that were getting into the festival. Last year he objected to Fritz the Cat.
Can this community support 2 film festivals, especially this close together?
I don't know. Perhaps we had a lot of interest last year, and of course we are very much in favor of anybody that's trying to celebrate the American film like we are and to redress this historic imbalance in festivals. But I think it is very unfair to try to confuse the public and make them think that one film festival is actually the other. There's been a lot of confusion about people buying tickets thinking they're getting one festival and getting the other. There's been confusion strewn among film companies, where film companies who were working with us saw them and thought they were us. Just massive confusion. And I do think that that's a bad thing. In fact, there is this federal suit right now in which they've been required to show cause why they shouldn't be restricted from using that name and that date.
Hearsay is that Jones and Hunter have brought suit against the U.S. Film Festival, excuse me. I haven't seen the papers, and our lawyer hasn't seen the papers, and no one in our office has seen the papers, so I don't know.